Game 3 of Crowd Control vs 30k is underway. We have Diva, Medivh, Sylvanas, Karzan, and ETC coming in for Crowd Control, and then we have the Lucio, Abathur, Vala, Imperius, Malthael coming in for 30k. Right now, I give a slight edge to 30k. I think they're going to have a lot more map pressure early game, but only having 4 bodies on the field is going to hurt them as the game goes on. The longer the game goes, the more that hurts, just because having 5 ultimates is always better than having 4 ultimates. And the longer the game goes on, the more useful ultimates are. Therefore, if Crowd Control can make it to the late game, very likely they can just hard force lanes down and end up winning the game.
Feeling of how far Celestial Charge goes, more often than not hits his mark.
30k a little bit slow on the clear mid lane. Did not even get bot lane down. Again, they only have 4 bodies. They do go in on the ETC, get a good amount of damage down. Medivh already in his bird form. And Lucio trying to figure out why his team is not rotating with him, just here by himself. 30k now going to be pretty slow on getting their bruiser camp because they're going to be slow on these rotations. They have to rotate back mid, clear all this out. Masquerade just has to not get ganked here. He doesn't have to do anything special, just hide behind your gate. You don't even have to be here. And now Crowd Control in position to go for this gank. Like I said, 30k is going to be slow on these rotations, which means Crowd Control has the luxury to do this. They do have an Abathur on their team. This is a 4v3, even though the Abathur can have somebody. You got the stun coming out on the protected Karzan, and the Asabo coming out on the ECC is not going to be enough. Cannot find the portal. Dyna manages to find him, but they can just run them down if they want to. Another protected coming out on Karzan. This is still a 4v4 in terms of bodies on the field, and they do manage to secure their camp. Oh no, actually, Crowd Control stole the camp. 1 kill in exchange for the camp. They do get their own as well.
That was so freaking cool. Masquerade, he was standing there, he was planning.
So nice little defense coming in from 30k, but at the same time, Crowd Control is going to be a lot quicker in terms of getting their camps out, and 30k still has to clear the spot camp. They are looking for gank here. Oh, he just used a stun on the minions. If he had just waited a second longer, but of course he didn't know that. He doesn't have vision on Lauber there.
It's not too big of a deal.
Liam's soloing this camp, who's actually going to be able to get this down faster than the enemy team. Very likely will go back to base after killing all these.
Yeah, well, we know he's one of the best out there as far as Imperius goes. I thought it wasn't a bad.
Opting to just take it instantly instead. Never mind going back to base. Okay, never mind, he's not doing anything. He's not taking it, and he's not healing up. Even though the enemy team is showing up here, but they have gotten invaded a lot, so he doesn't want to leave this camp. Lauber getting very low. Is the Vol going to be able to finish this off? 300 damage. Another Q coming in from the Abathur. Does it hit? It does not. Dino actually a little bit low herself. And now 30k is actually getting collapsed in on. The team is not responding to this. Malthael is getting focused down. Liam might go down. The enemy team gets the camp, and that's why you don't want to waste time getting that camp. You have to just pick it up. That's what I was saying in the previous game on Volsky. Oh my god, he gets dived underneath the towers. The Protect coming in. The portal's going to be able to just port them out. They quasi forgot that the portal exists, but manages to find it. That's what I was saying on the previous map. If you just wait to get your camp for 30, 60 seconds, the enemy team can just rotate in on you and punish that super hard. That's what I like to see, baby. That's why Crowd Control won the previous tournament. They make plays like that. They understand the game better than their opponents do.
And it brings me back to a point I made 2 weeks ago. If you're going to
now 30k just going to trade mid lane in exchange for top lane. Actually gets pushed off of it by Lauber coming in. If he gets a stun off, 30k actually dies there. Crowd Control very smart in terms of playing against the Abathur. Because again, there's only 4 bodies on the enemy team, so you can hard force unfavorable fights on the enemy team as much as you like. BBJ just wasting a little bit of time here. He's not going to actually be able to make anything happen, and he should have been mid lane, because you're not going to get top lane. You should force the numbers advantage mid lane. You can get some picks or you can get the camp down. Instead, for some reason, the healer is top lane, poking the Diva down. For reasons unknown. Both teams even on XP.
Now with Sylvanas, they're pushing the bottom.
And
four as
Sylvanas
well.
just now free
Trying to make
pushing.
sure
Abathur must be
the
ping spamming his team right now.
to work with where he
30k
can
actually
save
focusing
and
their camp down instead of clearing this lane out. They might even lose a wall in the meantime. Medivh has full vision on this. Sylvanas is going to be able to push the tower down. Can 30k respond in time to defend this tower? It looks like they do push crowd control off.
Everybody's there.
30k did not get punished for taking their camp there,
So
even though crowd control has been punishing them
It just
all
shows
game.
how few fights there actually are.
That's great. Looking for a pick. Finds the diva. That is not who you want. Gets the protector coming in. This is why we see Medivh banned out. Gets a lot of damage down on Tai. Can he get out of this? Gets a little bit stuck in the corner. Is not going to be able to find the rest of his team. BBJ manages to find the escape. But Vala just gets shredded in the middle of that fight. Very, very nice focus coming in from crowd control.
Vaulted forwards.
yeah,
Okay,
I was
into
wondering
the
if
gate.
maybe it was like a desperation thing.
Always hitting priority targets in these fights. The same cannot necessarily be said at 30k. 30k's focus a lot of times hits tanks instead of the priority squishies,
Yeah, I mean, I know he's trying to
even
get
when the
these
squishes are out of
out,
position,
but that
so
was
you
not
don't
a
really
full
want to see that.
momentum kind
Crowd
of
control,
kind of
definitely
fight.
team fighting a lot better than they did in the first game, looking so strong this third game.
I gotta say, a little bit unnecessary as well, and that really cements crowd control's.
It's like they're learning how to play with every single match of the series. Every single game, crowd control looks better.
Now, and so they're gonna have a little bit of time where they've got those heroic talents. The ultimate.
Again, it's not like 30k is playing poorly, it's just that crowd control is punishing every single slow rotation that 30k makes.
Do a bit more damage. Makes sense on a map like this.
And what is that 30k, again, as a byproduct of having 5 bodies on the map versus 4, has more wave clear. And on a map like this, wave clear is super important, which is why they're able to both get forward and clear the land. Got the stun coming in on the ETC, who gets protected. And that's the problem with only stunning one person. You actually just don't get damage down. We got another stun coming in on Sylvanas. There is no protect coming in. It is coming in. The Karzan actually a little bit ago tries to get the ETC mosh off. Gets actually a 3-person time stop on the enemy team. Sylvanas is dead for this fight. 30k just has to heal up Hasu Obs. Actually using the Abathur ultimate right now, taking a good bit amount of damage, trying to waste the enemy team's time. That's not the real Malthael though, so it's fine. And crowd control looking for an entry here. Medivh just flying around trying to see if somebody mispositions. Karzan a little bit of out of position here. And Lobber taking down to half health has to just back off. Medivh still in fly form. He cannot really do much of anything here.
Just hit him with the last rights after someone is already low.
And it looks like 30k may even end up getting this temple. They just have to do a few auto attacks here. But no, Lobber in position to punish that, so 30k thinks better of it, just backs off, just takes their camp. Malthael already gone, not in this fight. So Masquerade just wants to get out of here. He has to be careful to not get time trapped.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like
20 seconds on that ultimate.
for it to be a
Can crowd control find the fight while Malthael is on this camp right
They're
now?
just watching for it because they know he's going to take those opportunities.
Yeah, they're probably hitting.
BBJ almost out of position there.
Before he even lands it. Just 'cause
Manages to get the little boop off before he gets collapsed in on.
Yeah. Rotation back down to the bot lane as they try to claim their own siege camp.
30k learned they learned to just take the camp instead of instead of waiting to get ganked. They're taking these instantly now. They're not wasting time anymore. Good for them. And again, that's why you want to get your camps early, because now the enemy team is on their camp, and you just hard force this thing down. You just saw the enemy team take their camp, and you just hit this, and you're just dead.
So it's
Love it.
always dangerous to be anywhere.
30k also learning as they play. That's amazing, actually. Both teams learning as they play. All these Masters players, but
Pretty much even up on,
clearly a lot to be learned in terms of competitive 5v5 teams for both teams. They're still learning their synergies, they're still learning their rotations.
Boss goes straight to the keep. It's more important.
But again, they're learning on the spot. Drake Saiyans like that.
So now
You see this out of Saiyan battles, where you think you have the advantage early game, then they go Kaioken, they bring out the Super Saiyan, they bring out the Ascended forms, the whatevers, and all of a sudden you're losing, you don't know what happened. So this game can still go either way. Okay, which team is going to go Super Saiyan? Is it going to be Sylvanas? Is it going to be Malthael? One of these two is going to pop off during one of these fights, and is going to change the entire landscape of the game. Right now, those are the priority targets. You want to kill Sylvanas, you want to kill Malthael. That's most of the damage on these teams, most of the kill pressure. Vala's actually a bit of a weak hero these days, but she's hard to kill. Doesn't deal necessarily that much damage unless she gets left alone, but there's a lot of ways to jump in on her in these fights. So 30k actually choosing to focus all people down the same lane. Same with crowd control. Dayquaza looking for a fight. Masquerade finds nobody. That's a stun on cooldown. 9-second cooldown. He has to just back off here. Wait for the cooldown to come back. Liam on the tempo already. Crowd control trying to use this to go down the enemy team. Liam gets a little bit of damage down. Lomber has used the unstoppable already. Trying to heal out the enemy team. Gets taken down to half health. BBJ already has most of his heals on cooldown for this fight. Crowd control knows that they try to go down tight. That's a silence coming in. Can they finish it off? They could have died for it there if they wanted to. The Sylvanas passive was off cooldown. They opted not to. Just push the enemy team off. They know they get this for free if they just sit on the temple. Meanwhile, 30k knows they can trade top temple. They lost this. They just have to give it up. And they can trade the top temple in exchange for all this. Malthael actually wasting time clearing the lane out. You have an Abathur. Abathur can take care of that for you. You should just be on the temple as fast as possible. And now crowd control might be looking for a boss here. We do have Karazhan jumping on. They are pulling it away from the enemy side. Very nice kiting on the enemy team. And this kind of makes it, if the enemy team wants to fight, they can just pull off instantly. Very, very, very nice kiting the boss.
Okay, how about we force Malthael to come down by doing the...
Malthael actually pulled off on top temple so that in case they wanted to fight that boss, he would be able to show up, which means crowd control could actually now rotate in on this. Dayquaza looking to get in behind on the enemy team, has the mech exploding thing up. Liam trying to find a fight, gets taken down to 70% health already. Has to drop the unstoppable at the start of the fight defensively. Is going to have a lot of trouble coming back in. Masquerade going to be looking for a stun. Is not going to be able to find anybody.
Beginning in earnest. Lobber goes in, knocked back by BBJ, tried to go for...
And that's a time stop coming in on Malthael. Hasu Obs, Abathur clone, trying to zone out the enemy team so that his teammates can just take the objective for free. Crowd control has to be super careful here. There's a double Malthael coming in. That's a stun on X-Ray. Doesn't matter. The Lomber able to push him away. Stun coming in on the Malthael ultimate doesn't actually matter. The ultimate coming in on Lucio, but they're not doing anything with it. Dayquaza zoned out the entire enemy team. Gets a stun off on their protected Karazhan. Instantly ultimates. And now 30k might be in a little bit of trouble. Can they get Lomber down before he's able to do anything back? And no, they are not. 30k could actually just run this down. The protect is on cooldown. Dino's gonna go down. They can just keep running this down. They have no mana left, but crowd control simply does not have the ability to come back in on this. A little bit of a misplay coming in on crowd control, fighting on that Malthael ultimate. You just have to wait for it to cool down. You just have to wait for the timer to run out, and then you're fine. But they know if they do that, they lose the temple 100%. So they're trying to force the temple before the timer ran out. Both teams playing that very well. Crowd control, you don't want to fight against double Malthael. It's actually kind of nasty.
Oh, but they give up boss. They're like,
I don't think they have time for boss though, do they? The death
the other part about that was that they use most of their damage and abilities on the Abathur clone, which means that they don't have any abilities left to kill the actual heroes on 30k. Is essentially what just happened there. So very, very, very nice play coming in from 30k. And like I said, these people are getting ready to go Super Saiyan. That was Kyle Kent times 3 just there. That's what you saw. Can we get times 20?
I can only hope. That would make for great.
Also, I like that the Abathur clone has been dealing more damage in these fights than the actual Malthael. No disrespect to Liam, but the clone, as a byproduct of not being able to be killed, and that you can't kill the actual hero, is in a position to just deal as much damage as he wants without fear of dying. So, and really, that's how you should be playing Malthael anyway, because you have stupid amounts of heal, and if you don't get CC locked, you can just stay in the fight forever. It's a 1v5 like that. You have all 5 people next to you like that. But you know, Liam knows he doesn't have any reason to be hyper aggressive if he has the habit they're doing it for him, you know what I mean? And Masquerade actually being hyper aggressive on the enemy side. Both teams trying to collapse in on this as fast as they can. Dayquaza does have the Diva Man coming up. You just want to give this up. They cannot manage to kill him off before the protected runs out. And they do have to just back off. That's an ultimate coming down from the Imperius. And that's why Medivh is so good. You can use a 9-second cooldown to prevent enemy ultimates. It's disgusting. Disgusting ability. No counterplay. No way to cancel the protected.
Never mind, it's a 1-for-1 tempo. Okay.
And it looks like Masquerade wants to find a fight on the Diva yet again. That is not the target you want to go in on. Sylvanas, meanwhile, just pushing mid lane. They know they have to give top camp up. Very nice rotations coming out of Sylvanas. 30k, though, looking for a fight on this middle temple. They're opting to give up the top temple in exchange for trying to find a fight here. It is level 18 to level 17. Lomber's abilities are on cooldown. He has to back off. Masquerade finding nobody with the stun. Haswab's now just zoning the enemy team. Knows he can stay on that Abder cone for a very long time. Getting a good amount of damage down on Dino. That is a fake Malthael, who's getting the enemy team down to half health. Meanwhile, 30k running away from a 4v2. A little bit strange. I'm not sure why. And they do just have to back off now because they don't have the Abder clone anymore. So they can try to focus the boss down. The enemy team realizes that they actually don't want this temple out in exchange for boss. Boss will get bottom keep. 30k, however, not taking it. They're just posturing mid lane. They know the Medivh is on them, seeing every single movement they make, and vision so important at this level of play. Meanwhile, Malthael not here for this. He has to clear out top lane. Both teams just focusing on XP. Both teams just trading temples.
That said, a little bit more damage done. Damage fairly even up this game as far as
and honestly, this Medivh passive needs to get nerfed. It needs to have a timer on it. It needs to have some sort of counterplay. Even if you make it so where only ranged heroes can deal damage and they deal, say, 20% damage, like, what do you do against this? What do you do against the enemy team having full vision of you with no way to stop it? You know, there's no words in this game, which makes this Medivh passive heartbroken.
Just kind of play it slow, as eventually Sky Temple will be the death of you, as it will take down all your keeps, your core. 30k can play that.
Both teams just posturing, but Vala might be out of position. Medivh does still have vision on her, and the Malthael is top lane. If crowd control wants this fight, they can actually just find themselves a dead Vala. Lucio knows that. He's trying to stay nearby in case Vala gets collapsed in on. They do have vision on the enemy team, but Vala is still out of position. I don't know why she's here. She does not need to be. Malthael just now showing up. Vala no longer in danger of dying.
I mean, they'd love a 60-40 fight, but I don't think.
And 30k might get punished for trying to clear out bot lane. They they realize that they decide to pull off on it because you don't want to be running down Death Bridge against the kind of team Crown Control has. Crown Control now trying to throw at boss. They don't need boss at all right now. They have been winning these team fights, and they don't want to be on it. Masquerade dealing a good amount of damage down to the ETC, who's now tanking the boss, and this is why you don't want to be fighting here. You don't need this boss ever.
But look, 30k.
If you're winning on map control,
they're not gonna fall for the flanks.
You don't throw at boss. Crowd control realize that. They try to do this twice, try to force the enemy team out of position. And in the meantime, top lane has been hard pushing, and they have not cleared it out. So they are sending Sylvanas up top. But now 30k might be trying to throw at boss themselves. We'll see. We'll see. No, they know not to even hit it. They're smart. Masquerade just using his abilities on the wave instead of the boss. Good man.
This temple is a big threat to 30k in particular. They don't have a.
Can Lauber find a pick here? Ty a little bit out of position. Lauber could have gone in on that if he wanted to. He had full vision with the Medivh. Instead, Liam trying to go in on the backside. And right now, both teams just posturing. Neither team wants to go in. They Quasi actually getting a little bit low there. Crowd Control opting to hit up their pre-tap before this next fight, which will give them the option to hard force this actually. Coming back in at full health, healing up mana. Temple down at half health. They do get the time stop onto. Is Lauber going to instantly get the mosh off? Does not get interrupted. The Unstoppable not coming in on the ETC ultimate, and that's the Charism ultimate coming in as well. Hasulab's going down a little bit low, but that's just a cone. Liam in a little bit of trouble. Dino getting low, but not getting taken down. Liam, can he win this 1v2? Doing his best. Now a 1v3. Can he heal back up enough? Masquerade almost taking down Lauber. Liam still has the hat down. That's another time stop coming in. Liam can heal off this Diva, but Liam going down to the speed boost, and Masquerade is not going to be able to get out of this one. He might be in a little bit of trouble. That was a perfect team fight coming in from Groucho. Got the pre-tap, got the mid lane. Now they know they can just push this down. Malthael did respawn, but is it going to be enough? Can your boy Malthael 1v5 here against the protected on the enemy team? 10 seconds on that Medivh ultimate is going to come off cooldown soon enough, and that's the Charism ultimate to finish off the Malthael, and that's going to be the game. Crowd Control looking so very strong on a macro heavy map like this. And Abathur was not the pick here. Abathur was 100% not the pick here. Crowd control knows how to play around it. Crowd control knows that when the enemy team only has 4 bodies on the board, you just invade, you just fight them over and over, you just hard force fights, and then you just win the game. And then you just win the game. Medivh also super strong. That's why you banned that. Medivh ban, a bit more of a priority than Joanna ban. You can play around Joanna. You can't play around protecting everybody on your team. Stupid broken ability. Get rid of Medivh. Don't let it through, ever.